This broadcast is presented by the authority of the Pacific Coast Sports Racing Association and the National Association of Professional Racing Leagues Incorporated for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, rebroadcast, retransmission, or any other disseminations or the use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the Pacific Coast Sports Racing Association and the National Association of Professional Racing Leagues Incorporated is prohibited. On the PCSRA Sports and Gaming Channel from Learfield IMG College. Welcome to Triple P on the Blue Hedgehog TV. Now here's the voice of the PCSRA, Mr. Daniel Voiles.
Welcome to the Coke 600 and Gateway Special along with Portland edition of Triple P. If you're watching this here on YouTube, we are live because of the charity event that just finished wrapping up. We are working without an awesome net here today as we're excited to be with all of you here today. The stunning expert panel are ready to talk about what in the world happened on a wild weekend of the May holiday, as well as St. Louis and Gateway, and also the IndyCar race at Detroit. We want to welcome to the program Zachary Taylor, driver of the number 18 Purdue University Toyota for Indiana Motorsports. How are you, Mr. Taylor?
Let's see how many times Cody Smart burps like you did the last time.
Oh, we're already starting off to a wonderful show, if you ask me. All right, we have a lot of recapping to do. A lot. Without further ado, if any more panelists come in, I will make sure to introduce them as always. First off, let me do this so I can clear up some stuff here. Okay, I have the results, and we are ready to go. It's a lot of racing, I can tell you this, Taylor. We got a lot to talk about in this edition of Triple P after being off. And yes, I want to also tell Taylor that I'm planning to help donate some money to his charity cause while we are fully clothed. Hey, it's a charity cause, okay? Okay. All right, Mr. Taylor, are you ready to recap?
Oh, yeah, we need to recap.
Oh, you know Cody's going to kill you in this VC once he joins. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of recapping to discuss. We got, first off, to go back to the May holiday weekend, which is the Charlotte, Indy, Monaco, and yada, yada, yada. Let's see. We also have the IMSA podcast, which we're going to do that tomorrow live. Zachary Taylor and I have a lot to recap dating back to Miami. So, yeah. Before we go over recapping, take note of the description. That way you guys know what the rules are once I update the description as obvious. And, yeah. So, if you're ready, Taylor, let's do it in the order of how the races went, if you ask me.
That would probably be easier to do that.
Let's start with the Truck Series race at Charlotte. That was the first thing up. I did watch the race Saturday. For anyone asking, I had to work, so I only saw about half of the race, so I watched the other half of it Saturday before we turned to the month of June. So here's how it went down. Nothing really happened in the first two stages. That's self-explanatory. Caden Honeycutt, shocking, or I like to call him the Honeyman, got stage one. Tanner Gray finished second. Third was Raja Caruth. Fourth, Ty Majeski. Fifth was Lane Briggs. Sixth was Chase Purdy. Seventh, Dean Thompson. 8th, Ben Rhodes. 9th, Connor Mosack. And 10th was Bailey Curry. Stage 2 results was the winner, Tanner Gray. 2nd was Chase Purdy. 3rd, Caden Honeycutt. 4th was Dean Thompson. Completing your top 5 was Ty Majeski. Lane Riggs got 6th. 7th was Connor Mosack. 8th was Nick Sanchez, which we'll talk about him a little bit later on. Finishing in 9th was Daniel Dye, and completing the top 10 was Taylor Gray. So the first 2 stages was calm and clean and all that. But then on lap number, let's just do this so I don't get yelled at. Lap 67, I know the results on here says that cursive number, but I'm not going to do that because if I do, Taylor will slap me with a $500 fine. So lap 67, or no, let's try that again. Lap 65, we had our first accident. Looks like it was contact with Tyler Ankrum as he got turned around, collected Keith McGee, Thad Moffitt, and Jeffrey Earnhardt. All 4 trucks suffered significant damages, and their days was done after that. Then Matt Crafton got spun in turn number 3. You can go away, thank you very much. Stupid spammer, right in the middle as I was getting ready to talk about Matt Crafton's deal. What a derping hyena. The dumbest name in racing broke his brakes on lap 120. He was done for the day. And then Chase Purdy got involved in the incident, spun out, but didn't hit anything and continued on his merry little way. And at the end of the day, Nick Sanchez gets his 2nd win of the year. And I also failed to mention this on the last Triple P show. It was the Triple Truck Challenge. So we didn't have any cup leeches stealing 50 grand away from the truck regulars. After the race was done, Corey Heim originally finished 2nd, but was disqualified due to having 3 lug nuts come off the truck, which, in my personal opinion, he should have put them back on, but it is what it is. But I do know Nick Sanchez got to keep the 50 grand, nevertheless. As here's the top 10 results from the North Carolina Educational Lottery 200. Nick Sanchez, 2nd win of the year, his 1st win since Daytona. Stuart Friesen got 2nd, Grant Infinger 3rd, Matt Mills 4th, Ben Rhodes 5th, Jake Garcia 6th, Caden Honeycutt 7th, Connor Mosack 8th, Dean Thompson 9th, and Christian Eckes completed the top 10. Only 5 of the 36 starters for the Truck Series failed to finish. What's your thoughts on the truck race, Taylor, from Charlotte?
That was pretty interesting. Definitely, I would say for the most part, it was a pretty clean race, other than that somewhat decent pile up there. So overall, pretty clean race for the most part, and it was interesting.
Yeah, it was one of those races that was really one of the most interesting races, to say the least. I thought, both races were good. And of course, like I said, I only watched about 68. I almost said that cursive number, but to be fair, it was because I had to stay very late at work. That's why I only missed half of the race. And I only watched the other half, and, the rest was history and all that, yada, yada, yada. But I thought it was still a good race, nevertheless. So, what would you rate the truck race, Taylor, from Charlotte?
I will give it a 7.
Give me a 7 as well. I was not trying to second guess myself, so yeah. All right, continuing our recapping as I'm still trying to get the results for the Gateway weekend ready to go. Continuing recapping with the Xfinity Series for the BetMGM 300, and I thought it was a very interesting race. Of course, I had to watch the race Sunday, so yay. So here's how it all went down. First incident, Riley Herbst got loose coming off of turn number 2. Allmendinger had a heck of a run. By the time he got to Riley Herbst, the two made contact. Riley Herbst got turned in the inside wall, did some pretty significant damage to that 98 machine, and sadly he was done for the day. By the way, this was the final Fox driver broadcast, because remember, Fox is losing the Xfinity Series after this season, that because they are going to the CW in 2025. So there you go. So Justin Allgaier won stage number 1. Second was Elijah's favorite driver, Ty Gibbs. Third was Kyle Busch. Fourth, Brandon Jones. Fifth was AJ Allmendinger. Sorry. Sixth was Sammy Smith. Happy birthday, by the way, Sammy Smith. When we get to our happy time, Austin Hill finished in 7th. 8th was Chandler Smith. 9th was Ryan Sieg, and 10th was Cole Custer. Then Parker Kligerman spun coming off of turn number 4. And then we had stage 2 come to an end. That went to Justin Allgaier again. Second was Kyle Busch. Third, Austin Hill. Fourth, Sam Mayer. Running out the top 5 was Sheldon Creed. Elijah's favorite driver, Ty Gibbs, finished. Ryan Sieg finished in 7th. 8th was Chandler Smith. 9th went to Jesse Love, and 10th went to Noah Gragson in the 30 machine. Just after the restart, the 28th of Kyle Sieg spun coming off the turn 2, didn't hit anything. The 40 Ryan Ellis also spun off of turn 2. And then we had an incident. Justin Allgaier got loose for the raid on the 20 of Ty Gibbs and spun him into the wall, collected the 17 of Chase Elliott, even though he didn't get involved, and the 43 of Ryan Ellis. And the 00 was done for the day. Sorry about that little glitch there. Anyway, Austin Hill spins a 00 Cole Custer. Custer backs it into the wall. Custer was done for the day, and Austin Hill had his day ruined as he got held the lap for making repairs. At the end of the day, Chase Elliott, or as I'm going to say, Jim Bob, was ejected for excessive celebration, ended up winning the Xfinity race. So the top 10 results for the Xfinity race: Chase Elliott, winner, Brandon Jones, second, third. Sam Mayer finished fourth, AJ Mayer fifth, Kyle Busch finished in 6th, Ryan Sieg 7th, Josh Williams 8th, Ty Gibbs 9th, Noah Gragson 10th. Only 7 of the 38 starters failed to finish the Charlotte Xfinity race. Your thoughts on the Xfinity race, Mr. Taylor?
Yeah, definitely pretty crazy. Some of the things that happened in that race, especially with tempers there between some drivers, and so definitely a lot of craziness over there on that race, and it was definitely.
Still at winning. However, we're not happy with Jim Bob. Got ejected for excessive celebration. What would you rate the Xfinity race, Mr. Taylor from Charlotte?
I will give it a 7.5.
Give me a 7. So, yeah. Then we go to the biggest day of the weekend, even though on my other Facebook I called it the worst race weekend ever. We're going to start with the F1 race from Monaco. The race was a bit interesting, to say the least. 3 wide, in the words of Monaco, never a good idea. Kevin Magnussen found that out the hard way. The two made contact with Checo Perez, collected Nico Hulkenberg and Esteban Ocon. Decided, I need to dive bomb and wreck Pierre Gasly at Portier, which that didn't sit well with Alpine. And brought out a red flag. Checo was okay. The car, though, was not. And that was our only incident of the race, by the way. And, of course, Ocon had a 10-second time penalty, but because he was out of the race, he gets a 5 grid spot penalty for the race this weekend at Alea Mondial. You knew that song was coming, Taylor. But the rest of the race was in that consensus. And at the end of the day, Nathan Orman's fanboy lover, Charles Leclerc, ended up taking his first ever win in Monaco, which is the first time a home driver won their home Grand Prix since 1931, believe it or not. Top 10 results for the F1 race. Charles Leclerc, the winner. Oscar Piastri, second. Carlos Sainz finished third. Lando Norris, fourth. George Russell, fifth. Max Verstappen, sixth. Lewis Hamilton, seventh. They were the only 7 cars on the lead lap. Yuki Tsunoda got 8th. 9th was Alex Albon. Pierre Gasly completed the top 10. Only 4 of the 20 starters, as I documented, failed to finish. What were your thoughts on the Monaco GP, Mr. Taylor?
Definitely that move there, that freaking wide maneuver there did not work over there. Definitely I would say I don't think anybody expected Charles Leclerc to win that race, that's for sure. But I think we all expected Verstappen to go in there and dominate, but a good job done to Charles Leclerc, and definitely some blood moments there in that finishing order. And drop that song.
In that finishing order, drop that song. Zachary Taylor, 2024. I'm quoting that. In that finishing order, drop that sock.
No.
Zachary Taylor, 2024. Now let's go to the IndyCar race for the Indy 500, which was delayed due to rain, but they did get that race in, thankfully. First incident of the race, obviously, we had 3 cars involved. Tom Bloomquist, who ran out of talent, spun out, collected Pedro Fittipaldi and Marcus Ericsson. only 6 seconds into the race, which was crazy. And then Marcus Armstrong went out of the race due to a engine failure, along with Catherine Legg. Linus Lundqvist crashed as well on lap number 27. Mechanical failures for Felix Rosenqvist, who had an engine problem. All that. This race was kind of a carnage field. We had Ryan Hunter-Reay crash on lap 107. 113 was Marco Andretti. Will Power, who's too busy drinking on Foster's beer, crashed at lap 145. Colton Herta had contact after his struggling day on lap 170, and as far as that's concerned. But at the end of the day, for the second year in a row, Cody Smart's fanboy driver Joseph Newgarden won the Indianapolis 500. So the top 10 results for the IndyCar Indy 500. Joseph Newgarden, the winner. Pato O'Ward, for the second year in a row, finishes second. Scott Dixon, third. Alexander Rossi, fourth. Alex Palou, fifth. Scott McLaughlin, sixth. Kyle Kirkwood, seventh. More about him and Ferrucci later on, who finished in eighth, by the way. Rinus VeeKay, ninth, and Connor Daly completed the top 10. 12 of the 33 starters failed to finish the Indy 500. What were your thoughts on the Indy 500, Taylor?
Well, definitely.
Go
I think
on.
that race was probably worth the wait during the rain delay, because there was some really good racing in there. And, it sucks for some of those teams, because they, especially for the Honda drivers, because their engines kept blowing up. So definitely is something kept happening to them Honda drivers, making their engines blow up for whatever reason. But definitely it was a really interesting 500, that's for sure.
Kyle Larson, despite finishing 18th, got the Rookie of the Year Indy 500 award, so an extra $50,000 doing so. But yeah, so because they just finished the Indy 500 when the Indy 500 was still going on, the Cup race at Charlotte ended up starting. Which, by the way, Larson missed that race. Justin Allgaier had to sub in for him. And remember what I said on my other Facebook deal, that it was probably the worst May holiday weekend I've experienced? This is why. Because we'll get to the whole why in just a second. Should have used my paper towel. Plus, I'm already in figures, Joe, because I already told Taylor what I'm already having for lunch, so I don't need to say it on here in that regard. So, yeah. Starting off with the first incident, the 66, this week's driver being B.J. McLeod, spun off of turn number 4. Stage 1 was completed, was won by William Byron. Second was Ty Gibbs, Elijah's favorite driver. Third was Alex Bowman. Fourth, Christopher Bell. Fifth was MTJ Martin Truex Jr. Bubba Wallace is sixth. Seventh went to Ryan Blaney. More on him later on in the show. Brad Keselowski, 8th. 9th was Josh Berry, and 10th was Michael McDowell. Steering problems for JJ Lee for NY Racing made him drop out of the race. And then I said Blaney's day, Ryan Blaney, just a second ago. Well, he had a right front tire go down, goes into the wall. It says stopped on pit road, but how about it was Ryan Blaney's crash that brought out the yellow, even though he was trying to get it to the garage, but he couldn't. So, yeah, dumb for them to throw the yellow, if you ask me. If you know what I mean. But either way, we'll just continue with that. Let's see. Noah Gragson gets turned by Ricky Reckhouse Jr. Gragson goes to the inside wall. His day is done. Harrison Burton spun on the back straightaway. That ended stage number 2. That was won by Christopher Bale. William Byron got second. Bubba Wallace third in the stage results, by the way. Denny Hamlin fourth. Fifth was Brad Keselowski. 6th was Alex Bowman. 7th, Elliott. 8th went to Harry. 9th went to Ross Chastain. And 10th went to Tyler Reddick, which meant the race was already halfway. That means if rain came into play, the race would be official no matter what anybody says. Corey LaJoie spun in turn number 2, didn't hit anything. And just as when Larson gets to the track to get ready to climb aboard and continue the journey, Mother Nature reared her ugly head and said, "Nope, not so fast." And we had rain in the area, which the race ended up being called, even though the track was bone dry. But NASCAR made up an excuse and said, "Oh, but it's too humid and we got more weather," and they called the race, which really pissed off the fans, which then the police officer smacked all the fans with a shovel and then denied flags and gave the win to Christopher Bell, even though Bell did not deserve to be booed. But NASCAR fans were using the St. Louis dead bird strategy, which is the truth in that regard. So the top 10 results from the controversy. NASCAR just sucks because they don't care about resuming the race of the Coke 600. Christopher Bell gets the win. Brad Keselowski 2nd. William Byron 3rd. Tyler Reddick 4th. Denny Hamlin 5th. Ty Gibbs 6th. Chase Elliott 7th. Ross Chastain 8th. Alex Bowman 9th. Josh Berry complete the top 10. Only 3 of the 40 starters failed to finish that race. What were your thoughts on the Coke 600, Taylor?
Well, what I did get to witness of the 600 out of the 500 ended. Definitely it was interesting. It was shaping up to be a really interesting race there, and definitely there was teams trying some different things and getting on some different strategies and stuff, and really would have made for an interesting finish if it would have been able to run all the way and the weather didn't interfere. But it was interesting and pretty good racing.
All right, what would you rate the Coke 600 then?
I will give it a 7.5.
Give me a 7. So that was how it went down, if you know what I mean. So that was the May holiday events we had going on and all that. Now let's talk about the race weekend that was from this past weekend. Starting off with the IndyCar Series. And let's talk about the race. Christian Rasmussen had mechanical problems. There was a lot of wrecking I don't want to even discuss about in that regard. But Scott Dixon ended up winning the race after caution after caution after caution. You know what they say, Taylor? Cautions breed cautions. This race had a lot of them. Your thoughts before we run over the finishing results?
Oh, man, that definitely was a very crazy race over there in Detroit, and especially with that little rain shower that we got there about middle of the race or so, and some teams going to wet tires and then coming back down a few laps later to get the wet tires off. because it quit raining. Definitely, I mean, there was a lot of craziness over there, and teams doing a lot of interesting strategies and everything. And that was a pretty crazy race over there.
It was definitely a crazy race, if you ask me. And, we talked about a lot on the show of, this was a narrow street circuit. We had drivers who caused problems, if you ask me. And it was caused by Santino Ferrucci and Kyle Kirkwood getting into a shoving match during practice. Do you see any fines or penalties you think could happen from that ordeal, Mr. Taylor?
Well, I mean, it definitely is a possibility that we could see IndyCar hand down some fines and stuff over there on them too for what they were doing in practice. So who knows how IndyCar's gonna rule that, but definitely is a possibility that we potentially could see some fines and stuff handed down and stuff over there. So I think it definitely is a good 50-50 possibility that we could see that.
Oh, definitely. For his little ordeal, Mr. Ferrucci was called to the IndyCar hauler for his little involvement that he did. I think calling him the hauler was kind of the right move because, IndyCar is going to have to set him down and say, okay, this is enough. You need to stop doing this because the next time you cause another problem, you won't be so fortunate enough, if you know what I mean. So that was our take on IndyCar. Let's talk about the race weekend that was. Starting with the Truck Series race at Gateway. That was also delayed due to rain, but when they did get the race underway, it was an interesting race. First incident, the 66 of Luke Finesse, who is making his Truck Series debut, spun in turn number 1, but didn't hit anything. Stage 1 was won by Ty Majeski. Second was Christian Eckes. Third was Nick Sanchez. Fourth, Stuart Friesen. Fifth was Corey Heim. Sixth was Dean Thompson. Seventh was Grant Enfinger. Eighth was Ben Rhodes. Trying to make sure I didn't dirt, but I didn't. Daniel Dye finished 9th, and Taylor Gray finished in the top 10. Then Colby Howard blew a tire going into turn 3, made heavy contact to the outside retaining wall. His race came to an end, which was a tough break for him. Stage 2 went green the rest of the way. It was also won by Ty Majeski. Eckes got second, Sanchez third. This time, fourth went to Ben Rhodes. Fifth, Corey Heim. Not surprised about that. Let's see. Sixth went to Grant Enfinger. Seventh was Tanner Gray. Eighth was Taylor Gray. Ninth was Chase Purdy. And 10th went to Ty Dillon. And then the last yellow of the race went to the 91 of Vincent Salas, who also was making his first start of the year. He spun, nudged it in the inside wall, but did continue on his merry little way. And at the end of the day, Corey Heim ended up winning the truck race at Gateway Motorsports Park for his fourth win of the year. The top 10 results for the truck race from Gateway for the Toyota 200. I had to watch the race the next day because of work. Corey Heim, the winner. Christian Eckes, second. Nick Sanchez, third. Ty Majeski, fourth. Lane Riggs, fifth. Chase Purdy, sixth. Ben Rhodes, seventh. Stuart Friesen, eighth. Andreas Perez de Lara, also making his debut, an ARCA driver. He got ninth. And Luke Finesse, despite spinning out under that first yellow, came back to get a 10th place finish. Only 2 of the 32 starters failed to finish. Your thoughts on the Gateway truck race, Taylor?
It was very interesting. And definitely was interesting to see how some of them drivers did making their first start in trucks. And I would say most of them did a pretty good job for the most part. So, definitely good for Corey Heim to get a win after he got disqualified a couple weeks ago and kind of get a little redemption. So, definitely Corey Heim's been on a roll this year, that's for sure.
I thought it was a good race as well because some interesting races we had, and it was an exciting one to watch as far as that is concerned. And of course, I will discuss more on this tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time with my buddy Rowdy, Tyler, Demon, Beans, and Jeremy for a much more discussion on the Toyota 200, as is the Portland race for the Xfinity and Cup race also from St. Louis, which we will get to the Xfinity race from Portland, which, unlike the Truck Series, was not raining, thankfully. Frankie Muniz, by the way, blew an engine during practice and did not get a chance to make a qualifying lap. And because there was 39 drivers for the 38 spots, he was the only car that had to go home. So that sucks for him. Let's see. This is how the race went down. Stage 1 was won by Justin Allgaier. Second was Riley Herbst. Third, Sheldon Creed. Fourth was Josh Bilicki. Fifth was Parker Kligerman. AJ Allmendinger got sixth. Seventh was Cole Custer. Eighth, Ryan Truex. Ninth was Austin Hill. And 10th was Sage Karam. The 38 brought out the first full course yellow for stalling on track, which ended stage number 2. That went to Justin Allgaier. Second went to Sheldon Creed. Josh Bilicki third. Cole Custer fourth. Fifth was Shane Van Gisbergen, or SVG as we like to call him in supercars. Chandler Smith finished sixth. Seventh was Riley Herbst. Eighth went to Sage Karam. Ninth went to Sam Mayer. And 10th went to Ed Jones. We had a carcass tire come off Haley Deegan's right front tire as she limped that car back to the pits, but did get a brand new tire on and continued on in the race. And on that cursive number, just as Sheldon Creed was about to get a penalty for whatever, the racing gods gave him a yellow because Brandon Jones got turned around and collected a number of drivers in the process. Andre Castro in the 14, the 29 of Blaine Perkins, Chandler Smith and the 44 and 43. Those were Brendan Poole and Ryan Ellis. Brandon Jones was stuffed in the tire wall. Also, Chandler Smith went out with a engine problem, and they were all done for the day. And all the other drivers who continued on as planned. Which, by the way, was the last yellow. And SVG gets his second career NASCAR win, his first in the Xfinity Series, and that means the 97 has won for the first time since 1988. With Morgan Shepherd as SVG wins at Portland to the surprise of absolutely nobody. Well, surprise to some of you NASCAR fans, but for us, not surprising to anyone on a road course. So the top 10 results of the Pacific Office Automation 147, SVG the winner. Justin Allgaier finished in second, Sammy Smith third, AJ Allmendinger fourth, Ed Jones fifth, Cole Custer sixth, Josh Williams seventh, Parker Kligerman 8th, Parker Retzlaff 9th, Riley Herbst 10th. And only 3 of the 38 starters failed to finish. What were your thoughts on Portland, Taylor?
Man, it was pretty crazy, that's for sure. Definitely, I would say Josh Bilicki did a pretty good job in his first start with JGR. He did a really good job in there. You know, I speaking of SCG winning that, I really had a feeling that his first win was probably going to come on a road course, and so I guess I got that prediction right.
Well, it's not surprising he won on a road course.
No,
It's finally taken him 13 races to finally win an Xfinity race, and this makes up for the he should have won Coda deal, but hey, at least he made it up for that in the end.
Oh yeah.
So what would you rate Portland?
I will give it a 7.
7.5 for me. The commercial sucked, but hey, SVG still won, so I'm happy about that. Plus, I get to throw the announcer team off a mountain because two things. Number one, their jackets were still on, and number two, they were not at the track, which that really infuriated me. So, yeah. And we go back to Gateway for the Cup Series for the Enjoy Illinois 300. This race, I did miss half the race because I was at work, which I didn't want to fucking close lunch service, but my manager used the Oklahoma State dead girl strategy. First incident, John Hunter Nemechek and Cody needs to get himself out of the Cup Series because I don't know where he was going. Spun off of turn number 2. Then Cody, I don't know where I'm going, caused another incident, this time with Derek Kraus off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. And yeah. Stage 1 was concluded, was won by Christopher Bell. Second was Michael McDowell. Third, Ryan Blaney. Fourth was Austin Cindric. Fifth was Denny Hamlin. Sixth was William Byron. Ty Gibbs, Elijah's favorite driver, in 7th. Tyler Reddick, 8th. Joey Logano, 9th. And 10th was Chase Elliott. Let's see. Josh Berry had a problem going into turn 3, smacked the outside wall. Of course, I saw that when I got my lunch from Schlossky's, which I was sent to Figures Jail right away. And then the final caution, Kyle Busch made contact with Kyle Larson. Larson gets loose, spun, and collected Kyle Busch. Busch went into the wall hard. His day was done. Kyle Larson continued on his merry little way, which Kyle Busch was so drunk after being released from the care center, which ended stage 2, and that was the last yellow we had in the race. Christopher Bell won stage 2. Second was Austin Cindric. Third was Ryan Blaney. Fourth was Chase Elliott. Fifth was Brad Keselowski, with Joey Logano getting 6th. 7th was Chase Briscoe. 8th was Carson Hocevar, sorry. 9th, Austin Dillon, and 10th was Denny Hamlin. Nothing happened in stage 3 other than Christopher Bell had an engine failure, but he still managed to come away with a top 10 results. And Ryan Blaney ran out of gas because his crew member did not fill it up all the way on fuel, which led Austin Cindric to get his second career Cup Series win and first of 2024. Snapping a 92 race winless drought. 93 race winless drought, excuse me. And Austin Cindric is now in the playoffs. I also failed to mention Corey Heim also won $50,000. Did you not know that, Taylor? So that's good for Tricon. Top 10 results for the Enjoy Illinois 300. Austin Cindric, his second career NASCAR Cup Series win and first of 2024. Denny Hamlin had a solid run in 2nd, Brad Keselowski 3rd, Tyler Reddick 4th, Joey Logano 5th, Austin Dillon 6th, Christopher Bell 7th, Carson Hocevar 8th, Justin Haley 9th, and Kyle Larson complete the top 10. Only 2 of the 36 starters failed to finish. Your Cup thoughts on Gateway, Mr. Taylor?
It definitely is. That was pretty interesting race. With all the teams over there getting on different strategy cycles and pitting at different times, and some people staying out during the cautions and stuff. And sometimes it worked for some of the drivers that stayed out somewhat, and other times they just fell through the field like a stump, so like they were tied to a stone. So, definitely for Blaney, it definitely sucks to lose a race like that if you're Ryan Blaney and that 12 team. That's for sure. But you know what? Good run over some of them underdogs and like Justin Haley and Hosevar. Both of them really had a good car. But definitely, I don't think anybody expected to see Austin Cindric win that. That's for sure.
I think I would agree with with all that you said in that race so far. So, your rating for the Cup race?
I will give it a 7.5.
I will give it a 7. So, yes. Let's talk about we got a lot of top story news to tell you what. As we go to headlines on Triple P. Big news today, Sergio Perez has re-signed with Red Bull. He will be back on that team for the next 2 years. That will take him through the end of 2026. He's been in that ride since 2021. Austin Hill was docked 25 points and fined $25,000 for the incident with Cole Custer, which we documented earlier on in the show. Austin Hill is not planning to appeal the penalty as a result of that. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Will not appeal his $75,000 fine for his fight with Kyle Busch. Same with the crew members that got suspended for trying to choke Kyle Busch to death, which Zachary Taylor also threw them down the mountain for doing that. So they've already served their suspensions that started back at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And the big news, and Zachary Taylor will get his thoughts on this, Esteban Ocon announced he will not be coming back to Alpine. He'll be leaving that team at the end of the season. Alpine has had a really difficult start to the season and trying to hopefully salvage something for that season. And let's discuss some of the headlines, Mr. Taylor. Let's start, first of all, the fine and 25-point penalty for Austin Hill. Good penalty, bad penalty. What's your take on it?
I kind of thought that we definitely could see a penalty of some kind come out of that. And I was expecting some kind of penalty of some sort. And so definitely with everything that happened there between him and Custer, definitely I think I would say that'd be a pretty fair ruling for the most part.
We talked about this on my other show, LTR. We talked about, the behavior that Austin Hill has been on blaming other drivers and all that and not taking ownership. So do you feel like with this penalty that Austin Hill is going to have to start taking more ownership rather than blaming other drivers and trying to get away with it?
Definitely, I think we could potentially see that happen. Definitely, definitely if he keeps doing what he did to Cole Custer a couple races or so ago, definitely he's going to really get himself in some even more hot water and probably parked if he keeps doing some of what he's been doing.
So what you're saying is like if he like because he hooked them in the lever and spun him out versus like what we saw with Bubba Wallace and Chase Elliott hooking drivers in the right rear, turning them into the wall, which led to a suspension. So it's like there's a difference between the next gen versus the Xfinity series. So yeah. Let's talk about the Ocon deal. Your reaction to Ocon leaving Alpine?
Well, definitely. I mean, and this is kind of goes back to a point that Cody made on the last show with Ocon. He's been kind of causing some issues, and or maybe it wasn't on the last Triple P. Maybe it was in the.
I think it was on the last Triple P. I don't know, but go on.
Yeah, it was either on the last Triple P or in just a normal VC we were doing talking about him. He's been kind of having some issues with some teammates and stuff everywhere he's been, and Ocon, he's had some good runs in F1 this year. He's definitely, put together some good finishes here and there, but definitely, whether they release him due to the teammate beef and all that, definitely that could have partially been why they did that, but it definitely will be interesting to see what happens with Ocon next season, that's for sure.
All right, let me get some ice, and I'll be right back. So, Taylor, please sing a song while Cody Smart is not clothed in the strip club. Not accepted if he says anything, but go on and sing a song for us while I be back.
Oh, Cody Smart is not so smart. He loves the dark on Triple P. Oh, yes, he does. He loves to call hard rain no rain. And he loves to butcher up drivers' names when he tries to pronounce them. That's why Cody Smart is not so smart.
Nope, he just hit you. Is not an answer. I'm back, by the way.
Oh, you missed what I did.
I was listening.
Oh, so you heard that song?
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, that's another edition of the Zachary Taylor Songs presented by Cody is Drunk on Cody Ware. Is not an answer. Oh, getting back to the Ocon discussion. Now that I'm back, do you think the frustrations of them not starting off to this season, do you think that might have contributed to him leaving Alpine?
I mean, definitely that could also have been a factor of why they chose to can him after this season. They've had some good runs here and there, but definitely, I would say they've also really had some frustrating moments over there. So definitely, that definitely could have been a factor.
Yeah. So the big question I'm going to ask you is, where do you think he's going to go for next year? What team?
That is a good question. Definitely. I think you may see teams kind of be cautious of signing him due to some of the teammate feuds and stuff and that he's had with some of the previous teams that he's been on, and so you may see some teams be cautious of him for that very reason, and where he lands is probably going to be with one of the back marker teams in F1. So that would be my guess is where he potentially lands. One of the teams that don't usually get up towards the front.
I would agree. I could see him going to like either the World Endurance or maybe may not have a ride for next year. That's where I could see him land as far as that is concerned.
Yeah, that could be a thing too. I mean, he may not even be in F1 next year.
Warning, yummy Coke Zero.
Oh, yeah, get in there. That's more bigger deal time.
And I'm already home, so it's already started. So, that's where. So, silly season has really kicked off. Now let's get into the big discussion you and I should talk about. Stewart-Haas Racing will cease operations at the end of the year. So let's do a two-parter question for you, Mr. Taylor. First part, your reaction to SHR shutting down after the season ends.
Well, I think in a way we kind of saw this coming. I know there's been rumors throughout the season. So, before the announcement was made that they were shutting down, of them potentially downsizing to one or two Cup cars, or maybe just being an Xfinity team and next season and stuff. And obviously now with them shutting down, definitely it sucks to see them shut down, but in a way I think we kind of saw it coming. I mean, Stewart-Haas Racing definitely is kind of fell off a cliff over the last season or two, and even when Harvick was in his final season with them, I mean, they still were not necessarily performing the best, even with Harvick in there. So, I think was definitely something that we kind of saw coming.
And I think, and you probably should agree with me on this, I think the main reason for the shutdown, and you probably want to back me up on this, there's a couple of key reasons. One, it was the announcement, Ford and SHR were in their final year of their agreement deal, which we knew they were not going to be able to continue on. So there's that. They've lost Smithfield and Anheuser-Busch. Of course, Anheuser-Busch now with Trackhouse with Ross Chastain, and Smithfield has already left NASCAR. So there's a couple of things that, we can, and you would agree, that's a big hurt to the funding as far as that's concerned, right?
Yeah, I mean, Stewart-Haas has definitely lost some really big name sponsors, and definitely that could have definitely been another part of it. They definitely have lost some really big sponsors, and when Almirola left and Harvick left, and definitely if you don't really have the funding to keep racing like that, definitely it definitely is gonna hurt your budgeting for your team, that's for sure.
We talked about, SHR, their last win with this car came back in 2022. Chase Briscoe won at Phoenix. Of course, they have not won a cup race since. And of course, and guess what? Before the end of the year, they're going to get a frying pan if they do not get off that cursive number. Because they're on that cursive number as far as wins as an organization. So, but, to go back to my point, do you feel like the penalties that SHR got last year was the main reason they're shutting down for unapproved modifying parts and all that, yada, yada, yada?
I mean, even without the penalties that they got last season, they were having some good runs here and there, but they weren't being kind of a staple up there in the top 10, top 15 or so, and they really weren't being consistent up there. And even without the penalties, they still really weren't performing at a high level like we've seen Stuart Haas do before. And whether the penalties played a role in that from last season, who knows?
Yeah, I think the thing is that, it really sucks, but you know what? They're going to try to finish the season as best as they can. In a way, hold on, I had to ask Mario Brother to go hit my roommate with a baseball bat because he had Italian food. But getting back on topic here, let's go into another discussion of where does this leave 6 drivers, we can say. Josh Berry, Ryan Preece, Noah Gragson, Chase Briscoe, and also we can throw Cole Custer, Riley Herbst into this conversation. Where do you think those 6 drivers will end up next season?
Okay, hold on a second. Let me see if I can find something here because here we go. Because I actually speaking of predictions for Stuart Haas.
Because we also found out that one of their charters will go to Front Row Motorsports, which they'll have a 3rd car next season. I know one of them's possibly going to go to Trackhouse or RFK, and then that 4th charter is kind of unknown at this point.
Okay. So this is what I said back on the 5th month and the 29th day. Here's my predictions. I think Chase Briscoe is going to replace Harrison Burton. Gragson and Berry are both going to Front Row Motorsports because either way, Front Row needed to replace McDowell even before they got that 3rd charter. So
before McDowell goes to Spire for next season, which they have a charter there.
Yeah. So, I mean, either way, front row needed a driver and to replace McDowell for next season. So, and I think Gregson and Barry are both going to front row. That's going to be my crazy prediction. And where Priest goes, who knows? Maybe he goes back to modified for late models or something like that. Who knows? Maybe a truck or Xfinity team gives him a shot. Maybe even in a part-time schedule driving. Who knows? But Herbst and Custer. I mean, definitely I could see Herbst going up to Cup with maybe even front row. I mean, he could also be a candidate for that third charter. Maybe Herbst goes to some place like 2311 with him and Reddick both having the Monster sponsorship. So
Makes sense because Riley Herbst would definitely bring Monster up to the Cup Series. I mean, it's sponsoring him, it's sponsoring Reddick. I mean, it would make a lot of sense. Plus, there had been rumors that 2311 was going to get a charter from SHR, which could happen, but we don't know that for sure. But, all we know is we will have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I could see Herbst going up to 2311. Custer, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would imagine he probably stays in Xfinity somewhere next year, but I don't know.
It's a bit of unknown because ever since he got his only win in the Cup Series in 2020, which was during the pandemic at Kentucky, things don't get me wrong, but he's had an okay season, even though he did get a DNF back at Charlotte with his collision with Austin Hill, but he can still win races. It's just I think the timing of him getting rushed up the Cup was kind of too soon, and the 41 hasn't done well ever since Kurt Busch left the team.
Yeah. And I mean, Custer at times did decent up in Cup, and including that surprising win he got at Kentucky a few years ago, and unfortunately, Custer, just never was really able to find his stride and up there in the Cup Series, and unfortunately, he just never was able to be up at the front of the field consistently like he's been able to do down in Xfinity, and so maybe he gets another shot with a Cup team or something, but right now I would think Custer will go somewhere else in Xfinity somewhere. Where he goes, who knows?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, and hopefully he can bring some sponsorship deal, if you know what I mean. Luca Giotto will be piloting the 51 for this weekend at Road America, as well as the Laguna Seca races for the IndyCar Series. So that's good to hear about that. I know you and I have talked about this off the air. Your thoughts on Kyle Larson getting his waiver approved by NASCAR?
I mean, definitely. I think we would have been seeing a lot of unhappy people if he wouldn't have got it, and definitely good for Kyle Larson to be playoff eligible now and get that waiver so he can get in the playoffs. And Larson, he did everything he could to get in the car at Charlotte, and get there and race in the 600 and at least participate about half of it or so. It definitely is good to see Larson get that waiver and be playoff eligible now.
Elton Sawyer said, and this is what he said. Let me find out where he said. Elton Sawyer said NASCAR would make a decision on waiver before the 600 whether he felt NASCAR is setting a precedent for drivers to attend any other race on the same day and get a waiver if they try to get back for the Cup event. But he did say that Kyle did get back to the track in time. Was enough to give him that waiver. Would you agree with that statement right there?
I mean, Larson, he did everything he could to get back and participate in that race. And, unfortunately, due to the weather, he, got delayed in Indy and, didn't get back to Charlotte in time. And,
well, actually, he did get back to Charlotte. He just didn't get into the car in time before the rains came.
Yeah, and so it, definitely, it sucked that, Larson, had that weather delay in Indy and, and all the weather stuff. But, props to Larson. He did everything he could to get back there and give himself an opportunity to go racing in Charlotte. So, definitely, I think it was definitely the right thing to do to give Larson the playoff spot.
Oh, definitely. I think that's really important. All right, so here's my predictions. I see, and this is my predictions, and by the way, you can agree or disagree with me in the comments. Let's start off with Custer. I see Custer here. Okay, you might call me crazy, Taylor. I see Custer going to Junior Motorsports to replace Brandon Jones because, let's be honest, and I think you would agree with me on that, what has Brandon Jones done ever since he replaced Noah Gragson, who's now in the Cup Series? Would you agree?
Yeah. And this goes back to something that I kind of talked about on a previous Triple P episode. Even off the air on Triple P, Brandon Jones, he won a few races at JGR, but, he was running like mid-pack every race for the most part, it seemed like. And, Brandon Jones really, even failed to, be consistent at JGR. And, and now with him at Junior Motorsports, he's had a couple of good races back-to-back, had a few good finishes back-to-back. But, if Brandon Jones doesn't, start winning some races and, being consistent and getting good finishes and top fives and top tens even more, definitely he could be a driver on the hot seat.
Yeah, definitely. And like you mentioned, when the announcement he was going to Junior Motorsports in 2023, there was, and you could agree with me on this, there was a lot of expectations for Brandon Jones. There was a lot. You're going to be in a Chevrolet, you're bringing your Menard sponsorship with him, and so far in his, I'm actually going to pull up his stats now that we're discussing this. so that way we can hope Senor Sean gets here for his NR report. But let's talk about the Xfinity Series stats since he's gone to Junior Motorsports. Let's do this. So, let's see. He is what, 43 races into Junior Motorsports? Correct? Is that correct, Taylor? No, 46. I'm sorry, 46. So this is his stats: 46 races with Junior Motorsports since the announcement was made that he was going to go to Junior Motorsports. No wins, 4 top 5s, 15 top 10s. He's had an average start of 15.7 in 2023, 12.6 in 2024. But if you look at his average finish, he's had a finish of 17th currently in the 2 years. You see my point?
Yeah, I mean, when Brandon Jones went to where he is now with Junior, you kind of hoped, maybe this is where he can turn his career around. And, maybe, when he went to Junior Motorsports, you thought, maybe, this is where he finds his stride and, starts really being competitive. But, it seems like it's just really been an repeat of his time at JGR. And that's kind of what it's seemed like.
Yeah, I think that's something that you hit the nail on the head. Is that it's really disappointing to see Brandon Jones, who we all thought could be a talented superstar, and he's only amassed 5 wins. And it's like, it's crazy to tell you the truth. So, I mean, you look at drivers like Sammy Smith, who's really got a win with Junior Motorsports. What was it, last year? I would say.
Yeah,
it was last year. Yeah, you look at him. I mean, Sammy Smith was a rookie, and he made the playoffs. Brandon Jones did not. So, what does that tell you? If you know what I mean.
Yeah, especially, especially when you're in equipment like Brandon Jones is. It's not like, Brandon Jones is like with DGM or somebody like that. I mean, he is in top-notch equipment over there with Junior.
And when he was with JGR, he was in top-notch equipment. So there's no excuse to having poor results. If you know what I mean. You got to have good results. You got to have confidence. And like I said, to your point, we're not seeing that with him in his 2 stints. So, and I mean, to your point, he's definitely, if he doesn't start winning races, I don't see him in the Xfinity Series at all as far as lasting is concerned.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if he don't, start, performing at a really high level, I mean, he potentially could be looking for a ride. And, whether, that's, possible truck ride or something, who knows? But, definitely he could be a driver that is going to be a free agent if, he don't start getting better and start picking up the pace.
So, there you go. So, Brendan Butterbean Queen will be running 2 more races with Tricon at Nashville and Kansas, the fall Kansas race to be more specific. Daniel Ricciardo is rumored to be back at VCARB next season. Not sure what's going to happen with his teammate Yuki Tsunoda. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, here's the question I was going to ask you, Taylor. Going back to the Ocon deal, do you agree with the 5 grid spot penalty that Ocon will be having to take this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I think good move there by.
Okay, start that over. Hold on. Stupid Discord or stupid phone decided to interrupt me. Okay, start that over because my freaking phone decided to be stupid. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you do what Ocon did a few races ago. You're asking for a grid penalty or something like that from the Formula One officials, and he got slapped with one. So I would say it was a pretty fair penalty there.
Yeah, the original penalty was going to be a 10-second time penalty, but as I said when we recap Monaco, because he was out of the race, the next penalty was a grid penalty for Montreal. So, it sucks for him that he got a grid penalty for Montreal, but you know what? Oh well, it is what it is. So hopefully he's done wrecking his teammate, for God's sakes. Because I can't imagine what would have happened if France was on the schedule and they did that in their home race.
Yeah.
So, nice motivational belch. But we're gonna have to wait and see what happens if the lessons learned and all that yada yada yada. So
Yeah.
But let's see here. Let's pull up the motorsports calendar so that way I have everything ready to go. That is not what I wanted you to do, you stupid phone. Yes, I'm going to go throw the spammers off a cliff for interrupting Zachary Taylor's topic. Dumbass thing. So, we have this weekend, we got DTM this weekend as we're going to preview the races since we do not have Sean Art back for the NR report. When he's going to be home, we do not know. We're just going to say this. Congratulations to Jarrett Underhill for winning the rookie showcase for the Red Bull GT Series. And also, Taylor, I got a dumb question before we get into predictions and previewing this weekend's races.
Oh, no.
Why are we carrying 15 beers all at once while wearing a German outfit? If you don't believe me, look at the presents chat. And I found out that's Ormy's real wife.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's in Germany when they took that picture. It looks like that's German up there above that.
Now we know where Ormy's girlfriend's from. It's from Germany. Hey Taylor, we're gonna say this: Father's Day.
I am not even going to continue that discussion about that. What you said about Ormy. Thank you very much.
You just did, you derp. Are you ready for happy times, right? Speaking of Sammy Smith, happy birthday to Sammy Smith. Also, Racer.com said Arrow McLaren hopes Larson takes a second chance at the Indy 500, by the way. You're not surprised about that, are you?
Well, I mean, he still is under contract with them next year, so
we hope he'll be a part of it. Oh, this is going to be good. Not so happy anniversary, Sebastian Vettel. On this day 5 years ago, he was given a 5-second time penalty for coming back on in a dangerous faction, which caused him to win, which gave the win to Lewis Hamilton, which I was still throwing the FIA off a cliff for that. And I think you would agree Seb should have won that race. Right?
I kind of remember that race a little bit.
Yeah, and you saw how pissed off I was in that regard so far. Happy trails. Happy trails to let's see here. I'm trying to think what is a good happy trails. Oh, happy trails. Happy trails to a bunch of MLB players who got banned today for gambling, which involved one of Zachary Taylor's teams, the Pittsburgh Pirates, who got banned for gambling. Are you shocked about that, Taylor?
It sounds like I need to go throw some people down the mountain for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And also to that, whining.
Will you cut that out?
No.
Even though you'll say the word sure.
I mostly do that to David.
Even though he's not in this VC. So, yeah. Also, season tickets for Utah's NHL team's first season will go on sale this Friday, by the way. So, yes. All right, Mr. Taylor, let's preview the DTM race we got coming up at Zandvoort. What do you think we will see from Zandvoort?
Well, I know one thing I'm not going to do. I'm not going to say code ring like Cody did when he was trying to preview DTM. Of course, he was not so smart when he did that.
Hey Taylor, you're always so smart. You're smarter than not so smart Cody Smart. By the way, Kelvin Vanderlyn, Thomas Perring won at the Ladsitz Ring, which was the sprint circuit, by the way.
But I think the DTM race though will be interesting, and I think we'll see a pretty good race over there.
Yep. All right. Should throw a disclaimer. We will have your global standings down in the description whenever we have a chance to update that.
And when Cody's finally smart enough to do that.
Oh, wait. Did you see the funny quotes, chat? I'll go ahead and read this off before we get to predictions. You are not clothed accepted to mine. Oh, that's $100 administrative assessment. David G. Neller, 2024. GSR and I, Evil Jared, get out of here. David G. Neller, 2024. If you could clone yourself, SML 2024. Oh, and that was what Cody just tweeted, put in just now. All right, Mr. Taylor, ready for predictions for Global.
Uh,
Taylor's writing them down fully clothed with Katie. Let's also talk about the F1 race. They're at, like I said, Montreal. What do you think we're going to see at Montreal in a 70-lap event?
Who knows? I mean, the way the F1 races have been recently, who knows? F1 has kind of became unpredictable over the last few races, so who knows what kind of craziness we're going to see over there.
And it's also, I think you could agree with me, Taylor, we're going to have to deal with brake issues in that race. Also, Road America this weekend. What do you think we'll see from Road America after what we saw the last two races?
Whether we see weather or not up there in Wisconsin for IndyCar, who knows? I mean, teams, I think we'll probably see a few teams on a few different strategies like we've been seeing for the last few IndyCar races. So I think that is something that we probably will see. Teams trying to limit their pit stops, and then some teams will probably see trying to make many pit stops as they can. So, like we've been seeing the last few races.
Should be a fun one. All right, Mr. Taylor, let's start off with your DTM picks. We'll do DTM, F1, and IndyCar. So who's your stay away from?
Let me come over here.
Taylor's writing his predictions down, and he's going to be so smart. Then we will have not so smart. Cody makes his picks, then he becomes a derping hyena. You knew that was coming.
Yeah.
All right, Catherine Legs.
Oh, do I need to throw this thing down the mountain?
What is it doing?
Oh, I'm trying to find the last DTM results, and it ain't giving them to me.
Do you want Wikipedia to help you?
Well, it's what? Hold on. Maybe.
There, I just posted in your DM just to be on the safe side.
Wait, hold on. I think I got it.
Well, if you don't, I just sent you the deal just to be on the safe side.
Okay, I think I found it. Let me see. Let me see what. Okay, there we. Okay, okay, I got the last results. Okay.
Also, I want to do a special little shout out. Happy birthday to Brooklyn Carter, by the way. All right, ready to go, Taylor?
All right.
SD, how are you doing? Not right now. I'm only keeping updated on the. I'm watching the updates on Twitter because I'm doing this show. So, but I heard they were down last time I checked was like 5-4. They were in the bottom of the fifth, and then they had that collision at second base. But I've been to the Women's College World Series. If you're asking. So, ready, Taylor?
Alrighty here.
I also never mind. I'll talk about that next week on the show.
Alright, the driver I think that I am going to say will be the stay away from. I think I will say Mauro Engel, however you pronounce his name.
Mauro Engel, let's see, he finished 2nd and 7th, so he is not too easy, my friend. And yes, you said his name correct, so. No, I wanted Mauro, not Mario, you darping keyboard. There's no such thing as Mario Engel, you darping keyboard. I'm not trying to put that driver into the Xfinity series, Cody. Oh God, here we go again with somebody having a laughing gas. All right, who's your dark horse?
Yeah, we put capital legs and pure gasoline.
Oh!
Anyway, dark horse, I am going to say, how about Marco Whitman as my dark horse?
I don't think that's too bad of a pick. Let's see it. All right, and your winner.
Let's see. How about I go with the...
I should point out Cody's not so smart because he didn't join this. He didn't join the show. I'm sorry, I had to bring that discussion in here. Okay.
How about Ricardo Feller as my winner?
Okay, give me 1 second. I need to do something real quickly before I forget. Wait, where is the oh, there you are. Okay. Who is your winner again? I'm sorry.
Ricardo Feller.
Oh my God, if he wins the race, that's a bruh. F1.
All right, let's see here.
I wonder who Cody will not be so smart about as far as F1 is concerned.
Oh.
Sorry, Cody, that had to be brought up because Taylor knows you're never so smart.
Oh.
You knew that was coming.
Let's see here. Stay away from. How about Yuki Tsunoda?
He finished 8th, so he's not too easy.
Dark horse. How about George Russell?
Oh, hi, Sam. By the way, wait, who'd you say?
George Russell.
Okay. Before we get to your winner, I want to say this. For anyone who is not aware, I want to say congratulations to my buddy Sam Davis, who, if you're not aware of the news, he had his anniversary, his anniversary with his wife, who I've already met. So congratulations to Sam. And right now, Ormy's clapping his butt cheeks in disgust. Who's your winner before you kill me, Taylor?
I'm just going to move on. Thank you very much.
That's a good boy, Taylor.
My driver to win. Getting back on more serious topics here. Let's see. Who do I want to take here? How about Logan Sargent? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, God. If he wins that race, that's a bro moment.
Let's see. Oh, that would be Williams going to victory line.
Yeah, but they haven't won a race in how long exactly? There's my point.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, Sam, I'm wearing the OU t-shirt for good luck, so if they win, then that was the good luck t-shirt.
Okay, how about... You know what? How about Lando Norris to win?
Okay, that's a bruh. That's a bruh, Taylor. And last but certainly not least, IndyCar. Actually, I need to pull. Actually, that reminds me. I need to actually pull up the IndyCar results so I do not derp or be drunken Cody. If I do, then Taylor knows I'm going to get a Dunsat.
Oh, what?
What?
That is... Thank you, you dumping website.
What did your derping website do?
Oh, it was trying to be dumb.
Oh, they tied it up 5-5. Wow, that's cool.
Alrighty.
I should also mention, please follow Sam Davis on his podcasts on Spotify. Whenever whenever they get back on topic, it's for anyone that's asking what the podcast is. It's Everyone and Their Brother, which hopefully they will get back on topic with a new episode soon. Because I still gotta listen to episode 154 from like 2022. So yeah, please go follow their podcast. They're awesome. All right, who are we on? Stay away from for IndyCar. That's where we're on.
Let's see here. How about I take Will Power?
Let's see. Where did he finish? 6th. He's not too easy. Dark Horse.
Let's see here. How about Scott Dixon?
Not surprised you took him. Your winner.
All right, the driver I think that I'm going to take. He has been oh so close the last few races, and I think this might just be where he finally breaks through and gets that win. Give me Pato Award.
No! I said Pato, not Plato, you derping keyboard. I will throw this keyboard off a cliff in about 5 seconds. Oh, I should also mention, if you guys missed the first 2 episodes of Hogwarts Legacy, spoiler alert, I'm not going to tell you what house I'm in until you see the episode. Please go check it out before you see episode number 3. Spoiler alert. Gonna throw that out there. All right. My turn for global, that is. Because Cody's not so smart of updating global. You knew that was coming.
Cody's never smart about anything.
Just like his girlfriend. You knew that was coming. I'm going to say Ricardo Fellers might stay away from. Is not an answer. I'm going to say... Give me Lucas Hours, my dark horse. My winner. Give me Kelvin Vanderlyn. I keep forgetting that South African drivers like Kelvin Vanderlyn, Sheldon Vanderlyn have a D. I don't know why, but that's just weird to me. All right, now to F1. Are you drinking water? Are you drinking water? What were you drinking? What were you drinking? Tell me right now before I make my F1 picks.
I may have something that's going to get me thrown in someplace particularly.
Let me guess, you're going to get thrown to figures jail? Now, just tell me what you're having.
I may have a Powerade that I'm not sharing.
You're going to figures jail. And this ad, you can go away, thank you very much. All right. Stay away from Lewis Hamilton. He finished 7th, so he's not too easy. Give me Checo Perez as my dark horse. And I gotta go Max Verstappen to win. IndyCar.
IndyCar.
I'm sorry to do this. Teo Porcher is my stay away from. He finished top 10, so he's not too easy. Dark horse. I'm going Joseph Newgarden. Winner, Scotty McLaughlin. All right, Mr. Taylor, we only have 2. GSR just quoted this. What's watching two people react to old ads? GSR 2024. Look at the quotes, chat. You may now begin your laughing phase. All right, Mr. Taylor, let's preview Sonoma as we say farewell to Fox because they suck and farted on Cody.
Oh,
okay, then is not an answer. So we have the Xfinity Series race coming up Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Zip Buy Now, Pay Later 250 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on FS1. It will also be streamed on the Performance Racing Network, The Voice. And all the Sirius XM deal. We have the Cup race. You can catch the Toyota Save Mark 350 Sunday, June 9th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox. You can listen on the Performance Racing Network. It is the last race for NASCAR on Fox before we go to NBC. So, Mr. Taylor, what do you expect to see from Wine Country with a brand new repaved track in Sonoma?
Oh, yeah, this race is really going to be interesting because of that repave. And, hopefully during the race they don't have any malfunctions with the track like they had a while back where they had to go repave part of it. This is really going to be an interesting race to see what happens on this repaved version of Sonoma. And, I think these teams are going to potentially be heading into a little bit of unknowns with this repave because who knows how the cars are going to function on this repave. And they could really make things interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be it could be a wreck fest if you ask me.
Who knows?
So, you ready for predictions?
Yeah!
All right, Mr. Taylor, you know the drill. And by the way, these are max points.
At least I'm not going to butcher up names like Not So Smart Cody did.
Mm-hmm.
Say Catherine Leaks and Peter Gasoline.
Yeah.
Which we added to the Extent T series. And speaking of the Extent T series, Cody, my stay away from. I am going to say Cole Custer.
Oh,
I stay away from.
I forgot to tell you all this. I'm going to double the points to make up for Charlotte, because I didn't feel like doing the tally for Charlotte, by the way. So keep that in mind. All right. So, yeah. All right, Taylor. As always, I need to put Xfinity. All right. Stay away from.
All right. For the Xfinity series,
As Cody likes to be not so smart about it.
I am going to say Cole Custer will be my stay away from.
Was it long shot you go next?
All right, for the long shot, I am going to say Josh Balicki.
Watch Balicki get a top 15, and then I question your strategy.
He is in the DGM car this race.
If he makes the show, that's the question.
Yeah, so I may have to give you a backup, but
We'll cross that bridge. Yep, there he is. No!
Yeah, so
I was trying to copy off Balicki's last name, you derping keyboard.
Yeah, so if need be, I will give a backup for that.
Okay, keyboard, would you like to stop being a douchebag? B-I-L-I... Okay. Okay, I spelled it right. Cool. What's your next one?
All right, Dark Horse. I'm going to take Anthony Alfredo back.
Watch Anthony Alfredo win a race to make the playoffs.
That would be awesome.
Sleeper.
All right, Sleeper, I'm going to go with Riley Hurd.
And your favorite?
I am going to take. How about I go with Sammy Smith to win?
You are crazy, Taylor. Now, Cup. Remember, we have, I'm going to say this. The following drivers are not too easy for stay away from in Cup. If I can get to the list. All right. Will Brown, not too easy. Cam Waters, not too easy. Allmendinger's back in the 16 this week. Hey, Taylor, your boy's back.
Yeah.
As Rick Ware suspends Cody Ware for one race.
Oh.
Because he doesn't know where he was going.
Oh.
All right. Who's your stay away from, Taylor?
I am not even going to continue that conversation anyway.
You just did, you derp.
Stay away from, I'm going to say, William Byron.
Ooh, what's your reason?
Because in In the words of Sean, why not?
You know he's going to murder you because you stole his line.
Hey, I said in the words of Sean, you know.
Even though he's still going to murder you once he gets in this VC, you derp.
No interview.
Alright, throws Taylor down the capsite.
Alright.
Long shot it is.
Alright. Alright. You know what? I'm doing this.
Oh no, let's hear it.
Long shot, get me my boy Justin Haley.
Okay, Taylor has gone over the deep end with the fruit. Is not an answer.
Okay. To be fair, Justin Haley is a good road racer, so.
Continue.
Alright, Dark Horse, get me that Napa Chevy Chase Elliott.
And then Taylor throws Jim Bob down the mountain.
Stupid stuff here.
Oh no.
Well, watch Jim Bob say the race is a hard word if Chase Elliott don't.
Well, he doesn't cheer for anybody but Chase Elliott.
Yeah, that'd be a good reason for him to say the R word.
Let's move on before I get murdered.
Give me, let's see. Where were we? Alright.
You're on the sleeper. That's where you're at.
You know what? Let's do this. Give me that number 20 of Christopher Bell.
And your favorite?
Alright, favorite? You know what? I'm gonna do this. Danny's probably gonna question what I'm about to do.
Do I even want to know what you're about to do?
For my favorite, give me Michael McDowell.
You know what my answer is? I'm not surprised.
To be fair, McDowell is a good road racer.
All right, Taylor, you ready to hear my questionable picks?
Oh boy.
Oh, wait. I would do something funny.
Oh. Alright, well, you don't butcher up anybody's name like not so smart Cody did.
Hey. Elijah's already raging right now about Saturday night's Xfinity race. You know why?
Because Ty Gibbs is in it.
Ding, ding, ding. And you know what? He's my favorite. I don't care what anybody says. I'm picking Ty Gibbs. Screw Elijah because it's the truth. Oh yeah, Preston Pine should qualify on time, by the way.
Maybe you should say Preston Bardis to win.
No.
Watch.
Alex LeBay. Stay away from. If he fails to qualify, here's my backup. Brandon Jones. So if LeBay makes the race, then I'm keeping him. If not, I'll put Brandon Jones. Dark Horse, give me John Hunter Nemechek. Sleeper, give me the dinger. And long shot, it worked for me last week on LTR. Give me SVG. Cup. Now Taylor's about to question my Cup picks. And guess what? Hey, Taylor. Great pick. Michael McDowell as my favorite. Great pick. I'm gonna say Ryan Priest, stay away from. He's not a good road course racer. So Taylor, great pick. Dark horse, Will Brown.
Excuse me.
Sleeper, Cam Waters.
Excuse me.
You're welcome. I'll send you a bill.
Do I even want to ask?
And give me the dinger for Cup for a long shot. For why the hell not?
I don't even know what to say about that. Thank you very much.
Hey, Cam Waters is in the show, so is Will Brown. So do you have a problem with that? Oh, Taylor's still questioning my strategy.
I don't even know what to say about that.
You just did, you derp. All right, Mr. Taylor. Any final thoughts? By the way, they have gone to extras in the OU game. Or it's 5-5, so yes. All right, Mr. Taylor. Any final thoughts before we get this race weekend underway at Sonoma, including the farewell to Fox? They will be banned forever, yay. Yay. Before Taylor has to go throw his dog off a mountain for barking.
I want to ship to Burlington, Vermont here in a minute. Anyway. Yeah, I think we're going to be in for a good race weekend, though. I think we're going to have some good racing happening over the weekend, and yeah.
Oh boy. It's going to be interesting to see how Cam Waters and Will Brown will do in the Cup Series, if you know what I mean.
Watch one of them win.
I would not be surprised. And then watch SVG come up and hug both of them if that happens.
Okay. You know what would be interesting?
What?
Is if SVG, Will Brown, and Cam Waters all finished in the top 3 together.
If they were in the same race, that would have been cool. So, yes. Oh, we've hit the top of the hour, by the way. How about that? So, yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's going to do it for this week's episode of Triple P. Join us next week when we recap Sonoma and all the other races and preview the Iowa race, which, by the way, will be double points, if you know what I mean. Taylor, I think we're definitely looking forward to Iowa next week because we don't know what to expect for the Cup Series, but we should hope for a good race.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So, with that being said, that is going to do it for this week's episode of Triple P here on June 4th. Happy June, everybody. So, thank you guys a lot for joining us for this episode. If you guys enjoyed this episode, be sure to give a like. If you haven't considered subscribing yet, I highly recommend you do so in order to keep up with some wonderful content coming out in the near future, as well as future episodes of your favorite podcast coming out throughout the rest of this week and onward to the next. On behalf of Zachary Taylor, I'm Dee DeVoles. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the IMSA podcast as you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of PCS Rate TV, The best in racing since 2017. We'll see you tomorrow for the IMSA podcast.
Cody Smart Ones